morning, everybody. We are live with New Image College. Thanks for joining me today. Awesome. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already and ding the bell and make sure you get all of our notifications, okay? So today we are going to talk about an extremely important aspect of representing yourself as a professional in this industry, and that is by cover letter, resume, and interviewing skills. So the first time your employer basically future employer is going to meet you is when they read your cover letter and resume. And then of course they're going to meet you and your personality, and all the questions you answer and ask them are going to help them make a decision on whether you're qualified for the position or not. So I know a lot of you have already started working on your resumes. Anna sent you a bunch of information. It's all in your folder, so hopefully you've read through it all. I'm going to read through a bunch of information today, and then we can have questions and answers after. And I'm going to just elaborate on the importance of a cover letter, important aspects that it should contain, and how you should format your resume, okay? And when you're actually in the interview with your future employer, it can be very nerve-wracking, and sometimes your mind just goes blank because you're so nervous. And everybody gets nervous, that's normal. So you have to practice, you have to rehearse. What am I going to say in the interview? How am I going to answer these questions? What questions am I going to ask them? You have to rehearse it like 20, 30 times before you go into the interview, or you're not going to be confident and you're not going to be able to answer questions quickly and confidently. And if you're not confident and you don't have an answer for the person doing the interview, then that just kind of sets a really bad example and energy, okay, for the interviewer. So let's just go into the importance of a cover letter. So cover letters are extremely important because there is a lot of competition out there now. And if you're dropping off a resume and HR has a stack of white resumes that high, that all look the same, they're all on white boring paper, and they're all 1 to 2 pages, there's nothing that's going to set your resume apart from the others, and it's just very generic. So you want to customize the cover letter. With your cover letter on top, on really nice paper, get some really nice craft paper from Staples, a thicker, better quality, and make it a little more noticeable. If they see that in the middle of a pile of a lot of boring paper, then they'll be more inclined to want to read that or look at it and see why it's so unique. And that's just a very small part of this whole process. But take the time to make your resume stand out, okay? So with the cover letter, you're not going to do the same cover letter for every single spa or nail salon that you apply at. Every single cover letter has to be individualized and customized to the specific hiring manager or owner or whoever does the hiring, basically. So, dear hiring manager, if you can find out what their name is, or call ahead, call the spa, get some information from the front desk or receptionist, that would be great. So, I'm writing to apply for the position available. I have recently graduated from New Image College with a diploma in aesthetics or nail technician. I would welcome the opportunity to interview with you to discuss how I can be an asset to your company, or how I can be an asset to Posh Digits, or how I can be an asset to Spa at the Century. So you know what spa you're applying at. I have vast experience working in Nick Spa, working on real clients. I built up a following of regular clients that always come back to me because they like my technique, or they like how I do this, or they love my massage. I strive for perfection and excellence. I'm hardworking, and I strive to build client relationships. I'm also very confident with retailing. I saw on your website that you carry Guinot and Declior products and gelish products for nails. I use the same products. I'm very passionate about these products. because they're organic or they're vegan or whatever you want to say to customize your thoughts about the products that they use. If you can't find out what products they use on the website, you can always call and find out. If not, just try to customize it any way you can. I live 2 blocks away from you. It's going to be very easy for me to get to work. I have small children, so this is perfect. It's a part-time job. This is going to work great for my schedule. Anything that is going to personalize the experience for the reader, okay? I believe that these skills, coupled with my hardworking attitude and willingness to learn, would be well suited to the position, blah, 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 blah. I look forward to hearing from you in the future, and I thank you in advance for your time or for your consideration. Okay, and that's all you have to say. Sincerely or kindest regards, your name and your information. You should always have the date on the cover letter. You should always have your name and address on the cover letter, and customize it. You can customize it with headers and footers or headings or borders, and make it, just keep it professional and fun. So that's pretty much it for the cover letter. I have another example here. I would like to apply for the nail technician position at blank blank spa or nail salon, because I know that this type of spa targets this type of clientele. I speak 3 different languages, so this is going to work well for me and benefit your salon. The location is very convenient. I live in Burnaby as well. My specialty is nail art. I'm really good at design, and I know that your spa focuses on nail art designs. Enclosed is my resume. If you require more information, please feel free to call me and leave your information. Okay, so a nice beefy paragraph or 2 paragraphs is all you need. Okay, just a nice introduction. Then they're going to look at the resume. Now, I know a lot of us coming out of high school and kind of like the traditional way of thinking is your resume should only be 1 page. Your resume is only going to be 1 page if you've just graduated high school and you've never had a job, or you've worked in a retail job once. Our resumes are going to need to be more than 1 page. So don't try to cram all your information on 1 page. Everyone's really educated now. There's lots of certificate programs that people take online. There's lots of volunteer work. People are working at a very young age now, and they have lots of experience. So if your resume is 1, 2, or 3 pages, that's fine. The more information, the better. Don't try to condense it and sell yourself short, okay? Put all the information in and be very thorough, because there's lots of competition out there, and you want to make sure that you represent yourself the way you should, okay? So, 5 things people reading your resume wish you knew. Resumes are very professional documents. In fact, whenever I'm reviewing a resume, I always ask permission before I mark it up. Who am I to edit your life's work? That said, I can almost guarantee you that the way your career counselor handles your resume is not the way it will be handled once you submit your job applications. After speaking with many, many recruiters, here are some hard truths I've learned. If your relevant experience, education, or skills are hard to find at a glance, your resume might as well be blank. That is true. You want to have a lot of content. You don't want to leave anything out, but you don't want it to be overcrowded or messy or confusing. So everything has to be titled with bold headings, and everything has to be very clear and concise. You don't want to make your format too funky or too crazy or too creative. You still want to keep it very professional with some uniqueness. You want to make sure that you write down your experience, your education, your skills. A lot of people put skills first. I can do this. I'm proficient at manicures, pedicures, artificial nails, gel and acrylic, use of the nail drill, nail art design, confident with retailing. You want to list all those skills. If you're in spa, you want to put it in bullets, and you can put proficient in facials, intense skin mapping or skin analysis, thorough extractions using the lancet, proficient in use of electrotherapy equipment like high frequency and hydrodermy machines, proficient in different facial massage like digital pressure, stone massage, lymph drainage, as well as relaxation. So you can outline all of your skills first so they get a good idea that you're well-rounded with your education, and then you can go into the details. Now, a lot of you that come from Nick Spa and the nail program are working in the Nick Salon and Spa. So you're getting and gaining real life experience with clients before you even graduate. So that can fall under experience. So under your experience, I have working experience on real clients doing this, this, and this. Or I've done 10 manicures, 20 pedicures, 50 different nail designs. I've worked with paraffin wax, stone massage. You guys have that student record form that you fill out and I sign for a reason. You want to keep track of all your practical experience. Employers will basically want to know that you're comfortable working on the human body. You're comfortable, you're quick, you're confident, and you can get the job done, okay? And build relationships and sell retail and everything else. But you want to make sure that you've got experience. So you leave here with a lot of experience. That's very important. And then you want to state your education. Always state your education with the most current. So New Image would be first, and then you'd go down to 2005, and then 2000, and then depending on your years of experience. Now they do say don't put information past 10 years. So you don't want to put anything that was before 2010, basically. Okay? Now, there's a STAR method. The STAR method means S for situation, T for task, A for action, R for results. So situation, describe a situation that you were in or the task that you needed to accomplish. So this is something that you really need to understand for interviewing, okay? Interviewing can be a very long, maybe 3 interview type process, or it can be really quick and short and your employer likes you right away and they hire you the next day, which is what we all really want, right? But sometimes you have to go for 1 interview with one person, come back for a 2nd interview, come back for a 3rd interview, which is usually the practical, and it can be very nerve-wracking and time-consuming. So describe the situation that you were in or the task that you needed to accomplish with your previous job. You must describe a specific event or situation, not a generalized description of what you have done in the past. Be sure to give enough detail for the interviewer to understand. The situation can be from a previous job, volunteer work, schooling, education. Task. What goal were you working towards? So what is your goal? Normally they're going to ask you, where do you see yourself in 2 years? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Where do you want to be? And does our company fit in with that goal? Action. Describe the actions you took to address the situation with an appropriate amount of detail and keep the focus on you. What specific steps did you take and what was your contribution? Be careful that you don't describe what the team or group did when talking about a project. Really try to encompass what you did in the group, how you were affected, how you changed things for the better, how you took on more of a leader role, how you work good alone or how you work great in groups. Don't be afraid to talk about yourself. That's one of the hardest things to do, is talk about yourself. If I was to ask you right now, and I know I've done role playing with you guys in the past, and I'm your teacher and we're friends and we know each other, but even me, when we're doing role playing and I'm asking you questions about yourself, you guys know who you are, you freeze up and you laugh and you giggle and you go blank. You can't remember. So let's try doing a little bit of this now. If we're in an interviewing process and I'm interviewing you, I'm going to ask you what your passions are. Why did you choose this career? What challenges have you had in the past when working with other employers, and how did you overcome them? You can't just have a blank stare and kind of smile and say, I don't really know. I can't really think of anything. Even if you can't think of anything, you need to think of something. You need to figure out scenarios and situations, and you need to describe yourself in 3 words. Can you describe yourself in 3 words? Does anyone want to have a go? Let's see if anyone can type up 3 things that describe them. How would you describe yourself in 2 words? Can you do that? Loyal, hardworking. Perfect. Honest, and pays attention to detail. A good one is, Gabby has one. Intense and loyal. Perfect. And what does intense mean? Intense could mean I'm a perfectionist and I have to do everything perfect, or it drives me crazy. And that's what is a good thing to say when your employer asks you, if you had to change one thing about yourself, or if you had to change a characteristic about your personality, what would it be? The one I've always used in the past, because you don't want to say anything bad, I'm always late for work. It's really hard for me to get up in the morning. I get really nervous really easily, and I lose focus. Of course, that happens to a lot of people, but we're not going to tell them that, even though that's the truth. But things you could say are, things I need to work on or things I'd like to change is the fact that I am a perfectionist. I need to get everything done, and I need to get all my services done. And I have an eye for detail, and sometimes I run over in my time because I'm such a perfectionist, and I have to work on that. That is a fault, but it's also a good thing. So if you can find something about yourself that you want to change or improve, like that, then your employer is usually fine with it. But don't be too honest. Does anybody else have any characteristics about themselves that they would say when the employer is like, describe yourself in 3 words? What else? What are like some keywords, positive keywords that describe you? Loyal's good. Being punctual is really good. Hardworking, passionate, friendly. So start thinking about that. I want you guys to write down or type it out if you have your computer in front of you. I want you to write down right now 5 things. 5 things that describe you. 5 things that describe your personality. Okay? And I want you to memorize them, and I want you to use those in your interview. Now I want you to think about an experience that you had at work in one of your previous jobs that you had to overcome an issue or a problem. An issue or a problem with a coworker and a client. So a lot of us have worked in retail. There's lots of issues with clients and managers and coworkers. A lot of us work in the food industry. We have a lot of issues with clients and food, clients and drink, other coworkers and management. So I want you to write down one thing one story for me, either regarding an employer or a client or customer, and tell me about an experience that you had to overcome where the customer was being irrational or angry or yelling, and how you had to diffuse the situation, how a coworker was being rude and disrespectful and embarrassing in front of clients, how you had to diffuse that situation, or how your boss or manager was treating you or mistreating you or disrespecting you in a professional environment, and how you had to overcome that. Okay, so just write down one story for me. Okay, and I want you guys, just on your piece of paper, I want you guys to just take a picture and email it to me, or put it in your folder online. Okay, and then I want to review them. Hard work and knowledge, enough about products and retailing. Yes, Mina, your client or your future employer always wants to know that you're comfortable retailing. Always bring up retailing. Bring up how you want to develop your skills for retailing, or how you're confident retailing, and you really want to make sure that your client walks home with a professional product, because you want to maximize the benefits of the service. 5 things so only 5 characteristics or traits, attributes that describe your personality, and just one scenario. So write out one scenario, work scenario. Okay? 5 characteristics, 1 work scenario. Just take a picture and then email it or send it, put it in your folder. Okay? And I know a lot of you have already done your cover letters and resumes. That's great. I'm going to review them today when we're done the lesson. So I'll have individual feedback for everybody when I'm done that. But if you need to, after today's lesson, kind of beef it up a little or change things a little, you can send it again, no problem. Okay? Okay. What else is an employer, future employer, going to ask you during an interview? What are your expectations? Are you flexible? Can you only work on these days? Most employers want you to be flexible when you're starting a new job. And I know a lot of us can't be, whether it's family issues, we have children, we have another job, or we have to work around our husband's work situation. But the more flexible you can be, the better. Okay? Yes, I can work weekends. Yes, I can work Thursdays and Fridays some weeks, and Mondays and Tuesdays other weeks. Okay? So try to be as flexible as possible. They want to know that you know about them. So what interested you in this position and our spa? Why did you pick our spa? What do you like about this location, this spa? Why did you apply here? Don't say, because I am panicking, I lost my job last week and I've sent out 20 resumes already. You're my last stop for the day. You don't want to say that. You want to say, I'm coming here first and I've only put out a few resumes. You're my first choice because of this, 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 and this. Kind of like the points we outlined on our cover letter. The location, the products you use. What is their mission statement? Every single business on the planet has a mission statement, which is a philosophy. What is their philosophy? What do they believe in? What are their ground values and core values? Find out what that is and connect with it. Try to figure out something in your life or aspects of your life that connect with that. And they love hearing that you agree with that, because that makes you part of the family. What else? If you guys have any ideas or any thoughts, please jot them down. This will be more of an interactive lesson. As we go, if you guys have questions, we can elaborate together and talk about cover letters and resumes. I know you guys are probably going to be working on them today, so let's make sure that we have everything, all our questions answered and clarified before we go today, okay? Now, The future employer is also going to ask you to ask them questions. Do you have any questions for me? Kind of at the end of the interview. Try not to say no. I said no in the past only because I wasn't prepared. But they want you to have questions. They want you to ask questions and find out about attire, dress code, hours. Like, what do you expect from your employees? Ask them that. What do you expect? What is the dress code? Is there a manager on site when I'm working? Like, who do I report to? Is it always going to be part-time work? Or is there opportunity to grow into a full-time position? I'm starting off as a nail tech, but is there potential to grow and start working as an esthetician with my facial skills and my body skills? If so, when will that happen? In 3 months? In 6 months? Is there a probation period? Am I going to get paid minimum wage for 3 months and then after 3 months, after evaluation, get paid more? How does that work? When I get paid, am I going to get commission? How do you tip out? Do I get my tips at the end of every day? Do I get my tips at the end of the month? Are you going to give it to me in the form of a check so I get taxed on it? Or are you going to give me the cash? All of those questions are really good. Yeah, exactly. Money, dress code, hours. Now, usually with the first interview, I don't ask about money. If it's a job that I really want, I just want to get to know them. I want them to get to know me, talking about my skills and my attributes and my experience, talking about them and their mission statement and everything else and product and just building that relationship. If they bring it up, then yes, I'll elaborate, but normally they'll bring you in for a second interview. So when they bring me in for the second interview, then that's when I ask about money. And it's nice for them to get to know you too during the first interview and find out how qualified you are. The more experience you have, generally, the more money you're going to make. So if you're right out of school and you're in your 3-month probation period, you're probably going to make the lower amount, whether that's minimum wage or $12 an hour or 15 or 18 or 22, whatever they pay. They're usually going to start you at the lower wage and then move you up. Lots of spas and salons invest in a lot of training. Not all, but some spas will actually invest in weeks or sometimes months of training for you on the product lines. Maybe some spas have 3 to 5 different product lines, and you need to know every single product. You need to know ingredients, key actions, benefits of every single product. And this is for skin, body, and nails. So before you even start working to your full potential, you'll have to do this training. Some training's paid, some isn't. But usually with a spa, because spas and salons have a high turnover, people start, they invest in training them, and then they quit. And it's kind of a waste of money for the business. So what they'll do is pay you for the training. If you leave or quit within a certain amount of time, usually it's 6 months to a year, then you have to pay that back to them. So it's to ensure that they're not wasting their time or money on training you when you're just going to leave in a couple months. So there's different things. So something to think about, questions you can ask. Do you pay? How does that work? Probation time, it's all really important. But be careful not to get taken advantage of. A lot of spas will get you to work for free, and that's fine. It's kind of like a work experience program. I did that when I was fresh out of school. I was willing to work for free for anyone. As long as I just wanted to get my foot in the door, I was going to work for free for 2 weeks. And it turned out that within that 2 weeks of me working for free, I built relationships. I set a good impression to my superiors. One of the girls ended up having to quit because something happened and she had to leave right away, and someone needed to fill that spot right away. Well, I'm available. I know about all the rooms and products and services. I can slip in, I can do massage, I can do facials. So I basically took over her entire clientele. They put me straight into the position, and I had no intent of starting work full time, but things happen like that. So you just have to get your foot in the door, tell them that you're willing to work for free for 2 weeks, but no more than that. There's lots of spas, like I said, that will take advantage, and they'll get you to work for free for a month. And then they'll just stop calling you, and you can't get a hold of them, and they basically just got free labor for a month. Especially students that are coming over from other countries, English second language. Some people, unfortunately, will take advantage of you in that aspect. So make sure that you are being treated fairly, you're getting paid the way you should, but don't expect too much right away either. You have to give a little to get more, okay? Do you guys have any other questions about that? Do you have any other questions about cover letter, resume format? I want to give you, I know I wrote this on the board months ago, but I'm sure not everybody got that information. A really good website for resume building is called Your Template Finder. YourTemplateFinder.com. You can make some really cool resumes. There's some really fun formats. Resumes are hard to format if you're doing it on your own, but you want to have a template that you can just punch in all your information and it makes it perfect. You might have a sidebar with your name and address. It'll have big bold writing for your name at the top. You might have another sidebar for skills. There could be color and designs. It's a really cool website. I found lots of amazing templates, and it makes your resume look really neat.
Click Continue
clean,
to get these free tools
seamless,
and MyWay.com update on your Chrome New
and
tab.
neat. Not just a boring old piece of paper with black writing on it. So again, please check out Your Template Finder. Okay? Good. So let's just go into some more questions that I want you guys to review and be comfortable with. Okay? 50 most common interview questions. What are your strengths? So you have to have an answer. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? We know what your weakness is. You're a perfectionist. Why are you interested in working for us? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Why do you want to leave your current employer? So what made you want to move on? Did you have a falling out? And if you did, why? Why was there a gap in your employment between this date and this date? So if you didn't work for 2 years, maybe it's because you had a baby. Maybe it's because you moved to a different country. Maybe it's because you got in a car accident and you're on disability. What can you offer us that someone else cannot? So this is a question I want you to write down too. Question number 3. What can you offer us that someone cannot? Well, everyone that's applying here has a diploma in nails. Everyone that's applied has maybe a diploma in spa. Everyone that's applied obviously has a passion for this industry. So what sets you apart? Why are you different? Why are you special? Why are they going to hire you over the other person that has the exact same looking resume? Also went to school, also is passionate about nail art, passionate about body. You really have to dig deep for that one. So write that down, and I want to know what sets you aside from everyone else that's applying for this position. What can you offer us? What are 3 things from your former manager would you like to improve on? Are you willing to relocate? Lots of salons have different locations. Spas can have different locations across the country. So find out if you are willing to move. Are you willing to travel? Tell me about an accomplishment you are most proud of. So it's always good to have volunteering work or some sort of charity work that you've done, whether you're working with the elderly, maybe you're doing free manicures on Sundays at your grandmother's old folks home or care center. Maybe you're giving sandwiches out for the homeless at Thanksgiving or whatever. Make sure that if you volunteer or you do any kind of charity work that you put it on your resume. Even if it was only for 4 hours or a day, write down the charity or the establishment that you volunteered at and just the year that you did that. Okay, it's really important. Tell me about a time you made a mistake. Something to think about. Make sure you have an answer. We all make mistakes, and everyone understands that. The fact that you can admit that you made one and that you're willing to move on and learn from that is awesome. But hard questions. How did you hear about this position? Discuss your resume. Tell me more about your educational background. I see that you have this and this and this. I see that you have an accounting degree. Why did you choose to come into the beauty industry? Describe yourself. Again, you need to be able to describe yourself, know yourself with confidence. Tell me how you handled a difficult situation. Why should we hire you? Why are you looking for a new job? Would you work holidays and weekends? Hopefully you can say yes to that. When I was an esthetician all my life, I guess I started working when I was 18 as an esthetician. I always worked weekends. At first I didn't want to work weekends. I hated the fact that I was always the new girl and I always had to work weekends. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, those were my party nights. Those were the nights and days I wanted to go out with my friends or hang out with my family. But you quickly realize that in this industry as a nail tech and an esthetician, those are the busiest days. Those are the money-making days. So you would make double the amount of money on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday than you would on a Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. So when I saw the money coming in and I saw the amount of clients I was working on and my tips that I was getting and my high-ticket services that I was getting, I loved weekends and I would always work weekends. I had no problem doing that, and you just work around it. And then you find that when you're working on the weekends and you have your days off, say on Monday and Tuesday, you realize that the city's quieter, no one's at the bank, no one's at the grocery store, there's less people, you get all your chores and all your errands done a lot easier. Not everyone's around on a Monday, Tuesday, because most people work Monday to Friday. Yeah, more tips. And in this industry, in the service industry too, when you're making tips, you don't have to spend your paycheck. Your paycheck goes towards your rent or your mortgage or your savings or whatever you're doing. And you find that the cash that you get every day, you can walk away with $100 cash every day, not including what people pay you on debit or a credit card. So it can be quite lucrative. Yeah. Another hard question. What was your biggest failure? What was your biggest failure? That's a hard one. I don't think I've ever had that question asked to me. But again, you need to have something to say. You need to have a situation or a scenario You have to have experience. They want to know that you have experience and that you've overcome different situations in a positive way. What motivates you? Working in a fast-paced environment, in a team setting motivates me. Working in an environment where there's a hair salon, tanning salon, nails and spa. I like working in a high energy kind of environment, or working in a 5-star spa that's quiet and professional. Selling retail sales motivates me. I love making sure that my clients go home with the proper retail, and I love seeing my bonus on my paycheck every month. It's super motivating for me, and I love to know that I'm making my employer more money. Think about that. Who is your mentor? Who do you look up to? Do you have any mentors, and why? Tell me about a time you disagreed with your boss. How did you handle that? How did you overcome it? Maybe you didn't overcome it. Maybe that's why you're applying for a job with us. Career goals. What gets you up in the morning? That's a good one. What gets you up in the morning? You guys can let me know. You can type something in. Mina, Megumi, Yukiko, Gabby, you've got some comments going. Good, thank you. What motivates you? What gets you up in the morning? That's a great question. Don't say, well, if I didn't have to go to work, I'd sleep in till 10. Nobody wants to hear that. I like to get up in the morning. I like to get up early. I do yoga first thing in the morning. I like to read first thing in the morning. I go for a walk. I like to go for a walk with my dog first thing in the morning. What motivates me? I like to wake up early and see my kids and, you know, find something that inspires you. Yeah, walking first thing in the morning is awesome. Clears your head, clears your thoughts, gets you ready for the day. What was the last book you've read for fun? Do you read? What was the last book you read, and what was the name? Why did you like it? That's kind of a fun question. What are your hobbies? Make sure you have hobbies. Yoga. I do kickboxing. I play poker on Thursday nights. Whatever it is. I go for walks. I play Jenga. They want to know that you have hobbies. Right now, we stay home with our husbands and our cats and our dogs, and we don't leave the house. But no one's interviewing you right now, so. Does anyone else have any other ideas? I want you guys to think about question number 4, what motivates you? Okay? And I want you to write it down on that piece of paper. Okay? That's about it. Just make sure that your objective on your resume, usually the first thing that you're going to put on your resume, is short and sweet. I am interested in applying for the full-time position available or the part-time position available. I love working in a fast-paced environment and am excited to hopefully have the opportunity to work with you. That's it. You elaborate on your cover letter and you customize it, make it very personable, and then you go into your skills, bam, bam, bam. I can do this, I can do that, proficient at that, confident at that, detailed at that. And then you go into your education. I did this, I have this diploma, this certification, whatever else you want to put. And experience, I have experience working here, working there, I volunteered, hobbies, all of that is very important. But again, there's a certain format that you should follow. And not all resume formats have all of those options. So you have to find a format that's going to fit all of your information. Okay? And again, it's okay if your resume is more than 1 page. Resumes can be 2 to 3 pages, no problem. So if you guys can, start role playing. If you have somebody that you're living with, a boyfriend, husband, sister, brother, get them to role play with you. Or just practice your verbiage in the mirror at home, but actually speak it. So ask yourself the questions or get them to ask you the questions, and I want you to speak your answers, and I want you to do that at least 5 to 6 times. And right before a actual interview, I want you to do the same thing. And as long as you can talk with ease and confidence, the chances of you getting hired are going to be very high. If you're shy and timid and you don't really speak too much, then they're probably not going to want to hire you because you can't communicate with the clients. And when you're shy and timid, then that's going to make the client feel uncomfortable. And obviously that's not the goal of why we're servicing our clientele. So please work on that at home. Okay guys, do you have any questions about that? I'll just give you guys a few minutes. Ask me some questions. I'll see if there's any more information about resumes and cover letters. I don't think so. And you guys have all that information in your folders too that Anna sent, so make sure you read through it all. Tomorrow, our Zoom is earlier. It was kind of hard for me midday, and I know it was probably hard for you guys too. I think it's better first thing in the morning. We can wake up, have our coffees together, have our breakfast together, and talk about questions and answers and information that we need to clarify. I know you guys are going to be working on your final exams. I think some of you have actually completed them already. So if you have any questions about that, let me know. Your final exams are in your folders. And then we start a new module next week. That's super exciting. So we've got G1 and G2 together because you're both working on your resumes right now and interviewing skills. We're going to be starting new modules next week. Super excited. G1, we're going to be going into body, and G2, we're going to be going into nails. So that's awesome. And five strengths, yeah. 5 strengths or characteristics, like 1-word characteristics, attributes. I'm talented, I'm confident, that kind of stuff. 1 difficult experience that you had at work that you had to overcome. So a situation that you had to deal with an employer or a coworker or even a customer when other people were around. How did you diffuse that, or how did you overcome that? And what motivates you? And the last one. What was the last one? Who remembers? Strengths, difficult experience, what motivates you?
Why do you want to work?
Why do you want to work here? Why do you want to work here? There was one other one. Let me just think. I'll remember. If I don't remember now, I'll put it in the group. What sets you? Yes, thank you, Moji. What sets you aside from others? So what makes you special? Why are they going to hire you instead of me? Why are we different? Why are you unique? What do you have to offer that other people don't? Even though you have the same qualifications. Thanks, Moji. Okay, so try to get all of those questions done today. Try to send them to me by the end of the day today so I can go over them. I'm going to start going in and reviewing all the resumes and cover letters. And that's it really. Let me just see, make sure I'm not missing anything. Now, with G2, I've got a lot of nutrition charts, but not everybody has sent me their nutrition charts. So for G2, if you haven't sent me your nutrition chart, can you please do that? I'm going to start going through all of those as well. And the charts that you guys have sent me so far, the ones that have completed them, they're awesome, really good, thank you. Yeah, you guys have your work manual. Make sure you read it. And make sure that you complete your cover letter and resume. Anna's wrote that page 17 and page 40 are going to be good for you. Page 17 and page 40. You guys have this too in your email from Anna. And then you guys have all the guidelines for your final exam. And that's it. We start a new module. So if you guys don't have any questions for me, then that's it for today. Make sure you work on all of this information today, and don't forget tomorrow, 9 a.m. Okay? Any more questions? Okay, we'll leave it at that. It was great chatting with you ladies again today. Have a wonderful day. It's really rainy and cold, so cuddle up on your couch and work on all your homework. You're welcome. Okay, guys. See you. Talk to you tomorrow.